Congressman Mark Green has been standing by with us, along with my colleague Trace Gallagher. And Congressman, your reaction to what you just heard live there from the Pentagon?
I think a lot of the issues, at the sort of 100,000-foot level from the administration, decisions being made were avoided. I mean, he avoided those questions, tried to focus primarily on what the troop movements are all about, and it is to help that footprint. I think John Kirby said to be, the State Department's footprint to decrease in size. Non-combatant evacuation operations, basically something the 82nd Airborne Division, when I was a commander there, we trained on that all the time. So these guys are today's press conference focused on that and really avoided some of the strategic failures that have brought about this circumstance.
Yeah, Congressman, he talked about, or he avoided talking about combat, though he said the word a couple of times. I just want to kind of give you a checklist and tell me if I'm wrong here of the things that he said and what we know. He says there's no imminent threat to Kabul right now, but he went on to say the Taliban is trying to isolate the city. They are going to use Hamid Karzai International Airport, which of course used to be Kabul International Airport, to get these civilians out, both Afghanistan civilians as well as Americans and others. If the Taliban takes Kabul by the end of the weekend, as many suspect they might, how do you secure the airport? What do you do? I mean, he won't talk about, rules of engagement on the ground, but there has to be some concern that the Taliban is moving in and we're trying to get these people out, and you could have combat on the ground in Kabul by Sunday.
No, it's very possible with the speed that the Taliban is moving, but I think with 3,000 American infantrymen adding to the forces that are already there, and a second brigade, or a brigade of the 82nd now soon to be sitting in Kuwait, the Taliban will probably slow down. I mean, there is no way they can confront that kind of military force. The city won't fall as long as those troops are there defending it. But remember back when the Russians in Syria sent several hundred guys against an A-team, a special forces A-team of 10 guys, and we held them off with 10 guys and our United States Air Force. Our military can do this mission. The problem is that the Afghans haven't seemed to be able to.
We're getting this update from the UN chief. This is via Reuters right now, who just delivered a presser ongoing while we were listening to the Pentagon briefing. Guterres is saying that fighting between the Taliban and the Afghan security forces in urban environments is causing tremendous harm, Congressman. The chief says Afghanistan is spinning out of control. He also is calling on all parties to do more to protect civilians there, warning against warning attacks against civilians amount to war crimes. And further, he said he's deeply disturbed by indications that Taliban is imposing severe restrictions on human rights, targeting of women and journalists there. That's quite a warning. I believe we've got a bit of sound of what we just heard from the UN Security Council. Listen.
Even a country that has tragically known generations of conflicts, Afghanistan is in the throes of yet another chaotic and desperate chapter, an incredible tragedy for its long-suffering people. Afghanistan is spinning out of control.
Strong words there, Congressman, as he called on the Taliban to immediately halt this offensive, negotiate in good faith. That was a question we just saw put to John Kirby in the briefing room at the Pentagon. Do you really expect the Taliban to negotiate here, as we do know that the White House is pleading with the Taliban to leave the U.S. Embassy there alone?
It's startling that the administration would even think that's an option. The Taliban have all of the leverage. They have basically everywhere they've confronted their enemy, the Afghan forces, they've won. And they are, the way that quote sounded to me, it reminded me of a young boy that I saw when I first got into Afghanistan. His right arm had been blown off by a mine, and just the impact of generation after generation of people in Afghanistan, having to put up with this. It's heartbreaking.